Now at 5, too close to call. The growing controversy today while several swing states carefully count ballots as we wait for the outcome of the presidential election and the new lawsuits filed by the Trump campaign.
Election day frustration in Madison County. Today we are looking for answers after thousands of frustrated voters had to wait in line for upwards of 4 to 6 hours. The angry comments we are hearing today.
That says that the community was done with what happened.
Two school board members voted out of their seats, why a recent controversy is prompting change in Hendricks County.
From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 5, streaming now.
Now first at 5, the future leadership of the United States is still undecided. I'm Amanda Starrentino.
And I'm Mark Mullins. Votes are still being counted across the country, and neither President Trump or former Vice President Joe Biden have secured the 270 electoral votes to win the presidency. Several key states are still undecided as you look at this electoral map from ABC News. But ABC is now projecting Biden to win Michigan and Wisconsin, but Nevada, Arizona, and Pennsylvania among those that still have not been called. And now the president's team says it's going to court in order to stop Pennsylvania to continuing to count the remaining votes. ABC's Andrew Dimbert is tracking the latest developments tonight.
It's a race to the finish line, and the margin still razor thin in the states that could tip the scales in the 2020 election. As predicted for months, counting the record-shattering number of mail-in and absentee votes in battleground states is taking time, as anxious Americans wait to see who wins the White House. Although the race is still too close to project, last night both President Trump and Joe Biden securing several all-important wins.
We are now projecting that Donald Trump will win the state of Ohio. We have another state to project, and it is the state of Virginia. It is going to Joe Biden. It
was a roller coaster election night for both candidates, seeing leads evaporate, change, and tighten in some crucial states. Biden addressing the nation this evening, not declaring victory, but saying he's confident he will win once the votes are counted.
We, the people, will not be silenced. We, the people, will not be bullied. We, the people, will not surrender. My friends, I'm confident will emerge victorious.
President Trump, however, again casting doubt on the election's integrity without evidence, demanding that no more votes be counted.
We want all voting to stop. We don't want them to find any ballots at 4 o'clock in the morning and add them to the list, okay?
Legal experts say the president can't stop the vote counting, and state officials are promising to count every valid vote.
Our election clerks and our election workers have been working throughout the night to tabulate every vote and ensure that every vote is counted.
Every legal vote will count.
With all precincts reporting in Wisconsin and Joe Biden holding just a half-point lead, ABC News is characterizing Biden as the apparent winner in the state, Trump's team already promising a recount. Biden is also holding on to much of the blue wall states, but there could be cracks. Trump is leading in Pennsylvania, but officials say there are millions more ballots to be tallied, and the U.S. Supreme Court ruled they have through Friday to count them. And to be clear, election officials had been cautioning in the lead up to election night that it would take days to count the millions of mail-in ballots. But the fact that this is taking time is not all that uncommon and doesn't mean there's a problem. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, Washington.
As we continue waiting for the outcome of the presidential race, we're keeping a close eye on the results coming out of Vigo County, and here's why. In September, we traveled there to look into the county's unique distinction as a bellwether for the presidential election. Voters there have correctly chosen the president in every election except 2 since 1892. So far, President Trump is in the lead with nearly 13,000 votes, with 54% of Vigo County's counted votes so far. But there is still a long way to go for election workers, and they hope to be done counting tonight. In our report, a presidential politics historian and professor in Vigo County predicted Vigo County would go red. Another race that hasn't been called, the hotly contested 5th District congressional race here in Indiana. It's an open seat currently held by Republican Susan Brooks, who is not seeking re-election, and Democrats are hoping to flip it. Republican Victoria Spartz and Democrat Christina Hale are locked in a tight battle, with Spartz holding the lead right now. 80% of precincts have reported. Spartz has about a 20,000 vote lead right now, with results from 65 precincts still to come in. We will continue to monitor this race and bring you results as they come in at WRTV.com.
Madison County is in the 5th district, and voters there waited hours to cast their ballot yesterday. It was an issue we first brought you here on WRTV when we heard there were 5-hour-long waits at several locations. The county clerk says they purchased new voting machines last year and were planning on using larger vote centers instead of designated precinct polling locations to account for the high voter turnout this election. But the county commissioners rejected that plan last minute, so they did not have enough machines to go around and allegedly refused to purchase more, leaving many constituents frustrated.
You know what? We pay a heck of a lot of taxes to be told that, particularly on an election that is as important as this one has been. I'm 72 years old, and to me it was the most important election of my lifetime. So.
And to hear that?
And then to hear that, it doesn't sit well.
We went to the county commissioner's office today to get some answers, but no one was there. We emailed and left messages with all of them and have still yet to hear back. This is a story we will stay on top of. Mail-in absentee ballots are still being counted in Marion County. An army of volunteers and others counted late into the night and were back at it again this morning at 10. More than 34,000 have been counted just today by 3:30. It is unknown how many are left or how much longer it will take. A spokesman for the clerk's office said he plans to have another update between 6:30 and 7. A total of 148,942 absentee ballots have been counted so far.
Voters have ousted 2 incumbent school board members in the Northwest Hendricks School Corporation. This decision follows more than a year of controversy and divide over how the school district handled sexual misconduct allegations involving a teacher and a student. WRTV Investigates' Kara Kenny has been tracking this case from the beginning and now has the latest.
Earlier this fall, WRTV hosted a Facebook Live candidate forum with the 3 challengers, Joe Brooks, Abby Morgan, and David Pyatt. The 2 incumbents did not agree to participate in our Facebook Live. Tonight, we've learned that Morgan and Brooks have won and have defeated those 2 incumbents.
Northwest Hendricks School Board President Jim DiAgostino and board member Craig Peoples are out. Voters have decided to replace them with Abby Morgan and Joe Brooks. Morgan received 51% of the vote, while former Tri-West Attendance Secretary David Pyatt received 30%, and DiAgostino just over 17%. Challenger Joe Brooks received 67% of the votes and overwhelmingly beat incumbent Craig Peoples.
I think what we heard yesterday was the silent majority spoke. So I really think that's what happened. This is what happens when the trust gets removed.
All those in favor say aye.
The current school board has faced criticism for how it handled sexual misconduct allegations involving teacher Tyler Bruce and a then 16-year-old student. The board did not fire Bruce until 2 months after he was criminally charged with child seduction and 7 months after the alleged victim's family filed a tort claim against the district. The district also paid 2 Tri-West High School administrators $111,000 while they were out on administrative leave for nearly a year. Nathan and Stacy Bagley are accused of failing to report the misconduct allegations to the authorities.
That says that the community was done with what happened, that everything was exposed, and they were fed up and said, we're going a completely different direction.
David Pyatt was an attendance secretary at Tri-West High School and reported suspected sexual misconduct involving Bruce to the Department of Child Services.
I would suggest that her and Joe do a top to bottom review of this incident on everything and get everything out that they can to the public.
Both Brooks and Morgan have vowed to look into what happened and share what they can with the public. They'll work with the 3 other board members who were not up for re-election this year.
We're all still neighbors. We all still go to the same events and church, and we're going to see each other at restaurants and grocery stores and all those things, and we're all part of the solution one way or another. I know that I'm going to make sure personally to do everything that I can do to communicate and keep and maintain the trust that the community obviously has with me in regards to the way that the turnout was yesterday.
Many people in the community have expressed frustration that board members won't answer questions and recently eliminated public comment from public board meetings, something both Brooks and Morgan want to change.
When you cut off public comment,
when that happens, that's when the distrust starts.
Pyatt says the community now needs to get behind the new board members so this corner of Hendricks County can begin to heal.
I support both of them in moving forward, and I want all my followers to support her in moving forward with this.
Working for you, Kara Kenny, WRTV.
Abby Morgan told us, quote, "I would like to thank the members of the Northwest Hendricks School Corporation community for their support. I'm excited about this opportunity to serve the community I love." Jim D'Agostino and Craig Peoples haven't responded to WRTV's requests for comment. The COVID-19 numbers are going in the wrong direction in Indiana. New cases, the positivity rate, and hospitalizations are all up, according to the state. The state set another record of new daily reported cases. Today's number, 3,756. Those results recorded between October 23rd and yesterday. The statewide total is nearly 192,000 since March. The positivity rates are also continuing their climb. For overall unique cases, meaning that people tested just once, that number is at 11%. The 7-day rate between October 22nd and the 28th is now at 16.7%. The number of newly reported deaths of people with COVID is down by half from yesterday's number. The state reports 25 today. Those deaths reported between Saturday and yesterday.
And today at the governor's coronavirus briefing, State Health Commissioner Dr. Christina Box made a point of highlighting that Indiana is reporting the highest level of COVID-19 hospitalizations since the pandemic began. The number today, 1,897. That is putting a strain on hospital workers around the state.
What we hear consistently is that their biggest challenge is having enough staffing. Some hospitals have already needed to rearrange their elective surgical procedures to accommodate their staffing needs. We also are receiving 3 to 5 requests a day for staffing assistance to our healthcare workforce reserve for hospitals. Unlike last spring, when the requests came primarily from long-term care facilities, we are now seeing hospitals make these requests.
Dr. Box is putting out the call to become a member of Indiana's healthcare reserve workforce and reach out to the State Department of Health and help ease the fatigue on frontline workers. Tonight, Metro Police are investigating a deadly shooting on the city's northwest side. Pike Township medics were called around 10 this morning to an apartment complex on Majestic Lane near North High School Road. That's just east of I-465. The medics found a man suffering from a gunshot wound, and police say he was later pronounced dead at the scene. The man's identity has not been released. And a Hendricks County mother is in the hospital tonight after authorities say her 2-year-old son accidentally shot her this morning. It happened in Avon around 9:20 in the 6400 block of West US 36. The Hendricks County Sheriff's Office said the boy found a semi-automatic pistol in the home and shot his 40-year-old mother. A 5-year-old sibling was also called home and called for help. The children were not injured. The mother is reported as stable. Child Protective Services and the Sheriff's Office are investigating. Still ahead on WRTV, safety on the sidelines. The new rules the NFL is implementing for all teams to keep players, coaches, and staff protected from COVID-19. The wait is finally over for the Ball State football team. A season that was not going to happen at all gets underway tonight with the first game. Hear how the Cardinals are feeling ahead of the opening kickoff. Kevin.
And mark it down, another beautiful day. That leads to a beautiful sunset this evening as you're looking west in Putnam County. When will clouds lead to some rain? We'll try to answer that question coming up.
Denver Broncos legend John Elway has tested positive for COVID-19. The Hall of Fame quarterback and general manager says he is experiencing minor symptoms. A spokesperson for the team says Elway is doing well. Broncos president and CEO Joe Ellis has also tested positive for coronavirus. Like Elway, Ellis is quarantining at his home and continues to work. The team says Elway's and Ellis's cases appear to have originated independently outside team facilities. Team officials say no players or coaches have been in close contact with either man. Meanwhile, the NFL has released new COVID-19 protocols. In a memo Tuesday, the league said it is now requiring all teams to expand the bench area to the 20-yard lines. The changes come after 2 players tested positive on Sunday, and multiple teams moved players to reserve COVID-19 list because of high-risk close contacts. The enhanced protocol also requires all players and staff to wear face coverings in the locker room on game day, including before the game, during halftime, and during post-game interactions. Home teams must also provide at least 250 disposable surgical masks on each of the sidelines.
Here in Indiana, high school football will have its 12th week of games coming up on Friday night. Up in Muncie, though, it's been a long wait for the Ball State football team. The Cardinals will finally play their first game of 2020 tonight. The Mid-American Conference was one of the first to cancel fall sports due to the pandemic. Then they reversed course near the end of September. A 6-game schedule for football was put in place. Ball State opens tonight on the road against defending league champion Miami University.
So our guys, have been very focused, working extremely hard, have been, I always try to, continue to remind them to be obsessed with preparation, because preparation equals confidence, and that leads to success. So we've been staying after it and taking advantage of, the weather's been pretty cooperative. We've been lucky in regards to that. And so just everybody's excited, and every day that we get one day closer, you can just see the look in the players' eyes, and the excitement level just increase.
Ball State will play its first home game next Wednesday night. Other fall sports have also gone underway in Muncie. And Kevin, it looks like you are ready for some football.
There's hardly a sport you can bring up that I don't have something nearby I can grab. Want to golf? I can get the golf clubs.
You're always prepared, Kevin.
You got it all.
Always prepared.
I am prepared for fun. And temperatures today allow any outdoor activity. Is this getting old? I don't think so. 72, that's our temperature in Indy for the high temperature today, but realize there were spots 4 degrees warmer than that. Muncie, Ball State, we're just talking about their football on the horizon. They made it to 76 degrees today. We'll push record warmth as we get to the weekend as well. Anytime you have clouds on the horizon, I think that adds a little character to the sunset. It also foreshadows, in this case, more cloud cover through the night and tomorrow. That will tone our temperatures down just a bit. We're down to 69 in Indianapolis right now. Miami County, Peru is at 65. Other temperatures in the low 70s in Muncie at 71. There are your metro area temperatures. Because of the clouds tonight and a southwest wind, our temperatures will not fall quickly, and most areas will stay around 50 for an overnight low. The wind gusts were around 20 miles per hour today. There's your temperature trend when we get together for the late news at 11 o'clock. Temperature at 56 degrees, and we'll drop to around 50 by morning. Tomorrow, through the day, the changes that are ahead, it will be slightly cooler and we'll have more cloud cover. The wind will gust out of the southwest again 10 to 20 miles per hour. Temperatures only about 67. But keep in mind, our average high is in the upper 50s this time of year. That's how carried away we've become with these temperatures. Back to sunshine and a strong finish to the work week, right at 70 degrees on Friday. Friday night football, I'll mention this, temperatures will be in the 50s and skies will be clear. As you look at your Friday temperatures around the entire region, all within a degree or two of 70. That comes with Friday sunshine. As we move to the weekend, I think Sunday and Monday, of course Monday starts the next week, but it will be warm. 70 Saturday, lots of sunshine, 73 degrees on Sunday. The record both Sunday and Monday at 76 degrees, and I think we'll fall short of that, but we're competitive, let's put it that way. Our next chance of rain unveiled here in the 7-day forecast will be next Tuesday. Temperatures in the 60s, falling into the 50s. You know, we have a little secondary season of at least severe weather potential when we have these seasonal changes, so we'll keep our eye on potential for some storms on Tuesday as we transition back to cooler weather for Wednesday. Mark?
Thank you, Kevin. Coming up here, you hear about the high-profile races, but there's a lot of other Election Day news that's interesting. Still ahead here, why a young man from North Carolina is about to make history in Congress.
Understandably, the race for president and other high-profile contests make the headlines surrounding the election.
But also want to point out some other not-so-talked-about results from Tuesday. In North Dakota, a Republican who died last month from COVID-19 still won his race for state representative. David Andall was 55 when he died on October 5th. He was still on the ballot with 3 other candidates. He received 36% of the vote. The state Republican Party will now choose someone to fill that seat.
Several states voted to legalize marijuana for both recreational and medical use. New Jersey, Montana, and Arizona voters approved measures that made recreational marijuana legal. In South Dakota, voters passed measures to legalize both recreational and medicinal marijuana use, and medical marijuana usage was also legalized in Mississippi.
A man from North Carolina is going to become the youngest member of Congress and also the youngest congressional member in modern history. Republican Madison Cawthorn is just 25 years old, barely meeting the age requirements to serve. Under the Constitution, House members have to be at least 25 years old. Cawthorn is a political newcomer and staunch conservative and pulled off a surprise primary win over a candidate backed by President Trump. Cawthorn was partially paralyzed in a car accident 6 years ago and is the owner of a real estate investment company and a motivational speaker.
We introduce you to the people who are still counting absentee ballots to make sure every vote counts. What they've noticed this year, and we show you their process. That's tonight at 6 p.m. And it's tough to know what to buy now and when you should wait for a better deal. Next at 5:30, expert advice on what to buy in November.